Hello friends, I am Dr. Yashwant Joshi and I am the Vice President of NAPCAIM, that is National Association of Palliative Care for Ayush and Modern Medicine. I will be talking to you about the issues of caregivers. Caregivers we have already spoken about, basically the close relatives who stay with the patient day and night 24/7 and they are attached to the patient emotionally and socially. Generally, the friends and close relatives, we call them as caregivers. So, what are the issues which are being faced by caregivers? And then one of the issue is stress and how can they can be de-stressed, how can the stress can be removed with the help of yoga and naturopathy. So, it is basically in two parts, this lesson, issues of caregivers, and secondly, when they come to the stage of burnout, what is the role of yoga. The presentation has been prepared by Ms. Neha Kumari and she is the treasurer of NAPCAIM Uttarakhand chapter. She is located at Haridwar. Very nice presentation she has given. Who is a caregiver? Normally, one who provides care for an ailing person. That way, there are so many people they provide care. Even we can say that doctors and nurses and other paramedical staff, they also provide care to the ailing people. But one who provides care for an ailing person day and night, that is actually a caregiver. And generally, he is a family member, very close family member, relative, etc. Normally, in our social scenario, what happens? We generally do not shift the patient immediately to a clinic or to a hospital. He or she remains at home and the family members, they look after the patients. So, in this case, the close members of the family of the patient, they should be taken as caregivers. They help in daily activities and provide companionship to the patient, and it is very easy for them because they are generally staying in the same home. If they are friends or other relatives, then they are generally in the same locality. So, as and when they are free from their daily routine, they just come and sit and provide the company to the patients. They sometimes do household works, grocery shopping, laundry, cooking. They take personal care of the patients also at the same time. By the way, some family member is acting as a caregiver, then naturally he or she is not being paid anything. But if you have got some other person, you have hired a caregiver, then naturally you got to give some sort of financial benefits to that hired person. Independent caregivers, respite caregiver and private duty caregivers, these all, they are generally basically paid people who can be hired within the city, from the city itself. Now, what are the issues which are being faced by caregivers? Caring for your loved one is rewarding, but exhaustion, hopelessness, dejection and continuous caretaking go hand in hand. When we say constant caretaking, that means one is engaged all throughout, and particularly he is a close relative staying in the same home, he or she does not have any spare time at all, because most of the time he is attending to the requirements of the ailing person. So, now what happens? If somebody is working very, very hard and that person is emotionally attached, so this caregiver also comes under lots of psychological tension. Before that, they get tired also, and they get so tired, so exhausted that sometimes they fall sick. So, basically the physical issues, the psychological issues sometimes stress, sometimes they feel so hopeless. My God, what a situation, I can't go anywhere. I'm just tied up to the home, I'm just tied up to this person. After all, the caregiver is a person. They also need some spare time, some freedom, but they do not get it because they are totally engaged with the ailing patient. Now, what are the common issues? I just saw you, I just gave you the ground why caregivers have general issues. Anxiety, helplessness, fatigue, insomnia, loss of interest and headache. So, all this they are basically related with the continuous work. Insomnia, yes, because sometimes they have to get up and give some medicine to the patient. Whenever patient is calling, they have to go and pay attention to them, they have to look after them. Irregular appetite because of tiredness, because of busyness of the work. They can't have their meals at regular times. Depression, irritability, body aches, loss of health. So, all those reasons what we have given out earlier, they finally culminate into loss of health. And with that comes increased intake of alcohol, drugs, smoke. That happens very rarely, sometimes only, because after all caregivers, they are from the family itself. So, they do not take to the drugs as such, but in some of the cases, yes, when you are so tired and if you can't go out, can't leave the patient even for a minute, then naturally you can resort to such drugs. Overwhelm and short-temperedness, they become short-tempered because they lose their peace of mind and they overreact. Intention to control everything, feeling of isolation, they remain alone, generally busy with the patient only, can't meet other friends, can't go out socially, can't go to a picnic or can't go for shopping or anything. Overreaction to minor issues and compassion fatigue. Compassion means exactly they get compassion fatigue because they are so much attached with the person, ailing person, that they come into the similar situation. What is going to happen to him or her? What can we do so that the person can come back to the normal health? So, these are some of the issues which a caregiver faces. Now, if this continues, then comes burnout. Burnout is the extreme stage of exhaustion, and once you reach to that stage, thereafter you are powerless, you can't do anything, you are totally exhausted, you don't have any mind, don't have any willpower to act to any situation. Burnout is a state of physical, emotional and mental exhaustion. So, for a situation in which caretakers are, comes physical exhaustion first because they have to work all throughout. Emotional, it is there because they are attached to the patient, being a close member or a friend or a relative, and mental because remaining in the same condition, they come under burnout. Burnout is a long-term challenge, and this happens to a caregiver when continuous caretaking causes too much stress. Caregiver manages and controls everything and refuses to seek help. Even sometimes, even if they seek help, additional help is not available. Both caregiver and care recipients suffer as a result. And in this situation, it is not the caregiver only suffers, even the patient also, care recipient also suffer. They come in the same condition. But let us take it, care recipient is a ill person, he is not well, so he or she is already suffering, but caregiver was a healthy person, and he is suffering because basically he is providing continuous care, medical, social, emotional to the patient. Takes a toll on health and relationship with other family members if left unchecked, particularly disheartening when the patient is terminally ill. When the patient is terminally ill, it's a sort of shock that you have looked after this patient for months together and now the patient is about to die in front of you. Sometimes you just can't think of it. Emotionally you get disheartened. You don't have any will to see the patient whom you have loved so much, taken care of, is dying in front of you. Terminally ill patient, it's difficult to stay with them, forget about looking them after. And this emotional impact, if they do not go for a respite care, snowball over the time. That is where I had discussed earlier about respite care. In such a case, a caregiver should take a break from this routine of caregiving. I say again, in such a scenario where continuous care is being given by the caretaker to the ailing person and gets exhausted, needs some relief from this continuous work, then they should take respite care, maybe for few hours, maybe for few days, maybe for couple of weeks. Go out, replenish the energy emotionally, socially, mentally, be fully fighting fit, come back and reactivate yourself with the same job which you had loved and you have done before. Burnout, again the symptoms are same. Anything basically, can it be anxiety, depression? So symptoms are the same what a caregiver basically faces in this continuous care. Anxiety, depression, irritability, fatigue, loss of energy and lack of interest, insomnia, irregular sleep pattern, body aches and pains, frequent headache, increased or decreased appetite, indulgence in drugs and substance abuse. Very less, I mean to say. Of course, we have written it, but it is basically for the Western countries, just to give some formal knowledge, so that particular thing is written. Weak immunity system, frequent infections and flu, impatience. This normally happens when you get tired, you don't get rest, you become impatient. Because you think that you are looking after the people, you are helping the society, but you are not being cared. And in that situation, somehow frustration starts building in. And that frustration, if it's not being sorted out, you become impatient. What about me? What about me? Somebody should care for me also, after all. And that is where the feeling of isolation, hopelessness starts coming in, and then you become irritable. On small issues you start fighting, because you do not have now psychological control of your mind. Not exactly that you have become a mental case, no, I don't mean to say that, but you are so exhausted that you do not have that balance of mind. You don't know what you are speaking, you don't know how you are reacting to small things also. So before such a situation arises, you should go for a respite care, or you should take certain measures like what we are suggesting here, role of yoga. Yoga in treating burnout, and it provides holistic health care option to a caregiver. Yoga is renowned for its holistic health benefits. It takes care of a caregiver physically, mentally, emotionally and spiritually. Yoga, you see, particularly, yes, everybody knew about it, but two things happened in India, and that is how yoga came on the forefront. First was Swami Ramdev. Whatever it is, he was a determined person, determined yogi. He took lots of workshops, went around not only in the countryside but went around the world and awakened the people about the benefits of yoga. He became yoga guru, and that is when people started taking yoga. Then second issue came when Sri Narendra Modi took over as Prime Minister of India in 2014. Again, he was a man who who always respected our old heritage, Indian culture, who knew the grounds. He knew about the progress of our nation, how to go about it, and that is where he got hold of yoga again. Yoga got a new life. Even to that extent, he went to UNO and created an international day for yoga. So yoga is back now in our life. Everybody, most of the people, they are practicing yoga. And in this corona days, COVID days, almost more than a year, in 2019-20, little bit of 21, when people could not go out, yoga was the only thing what they are practicing, and it did give them good physical and mental support. Yoga prevents and treats immunity system, cognitive efficiency, behavioral patterns, mood swings, accurate perceptions, resilience, and of course spiritual well-being. How? Various limbs of yoga for preventing and treating symptoms, because whenever we do asanas and other things, most of our organs, body organs are being made use of. Shatkarma, these are the 6 cleaning techniques. Asana, pranayam, mudra, dhyan, yog nidra, om chanti, and mantra chanting. Let's take Shatkarma. These are 6 karmas, 6 functions that if we perform, the internal body system is being cleansed. Which are those? Neti, Nauli, Dhoti, Laluliki, Tratak, and Kapalbhati. They are the 6 kriyas through which the internal system is being cleansed. By following Shatkarma, body feels light and active. Will not, most of you must be knowing about it, but you can go into details in your own leisure times. Our aim is just to throw some lights on the brief points, important points, so that later on you can yourself elaborate on those things. Asana invokes proper blood circulation, making the body energetic, because it's a sort of physical exercise. You can't relate with the normal physical exercise because there are lots of difference between asana and physical activities what we generally do outdoors as well as indoors. Pranayam cleanses the energy meridians for proper flow of life force energy. It helps in balancing the life in both hemispheres of brain. Mudra balances the 5 elements in the body. It is a great healing practice. Dhyana means meditation, brings pause, peace, stability and harmony. During dhyana what happens that we generally get cut off from the environmental noise and we withdraw ourselves into what is happening inside. When we go inside you just find peace, peace and nothing else, peace and love. So that is how it brings peace and stability and harmony. It connects an individual's consciousness to the universal consciousness. Yog Nidra, Om chanting, mantra chanting, etc. Yog Nidra, it's a state of conscious deep sleep, complete relaxation. This technique is truly replenishes every cell of the body. Individual's consciousness is elevated. One then performs his duty with ease and joy. Om chanting, mantra chanting like Gayatri mantra, Surya mantra, Mrityunjay mantra, etc. wonderfully develops a person in totality. These are some of the asanas which have been recommended for holistic relaxations. Vrikshasana, that is, you stand like a tree. You stand on one leg and your hands, they have been stretched upwards, closed. The second leg rests on the thigh of the standing leg. So it becomes a sort of vriksha. You give a pose like a tree. Garudasana, again making use of both the legs and hands, twisted in such a way that you give a pose as Garud. Paschimottanasana, that is where you fold your body forward, head downwards, hands touching the toes of your legs. This you do turning towards Paschim, that is the west side, and Purvottanasana, that is this you do turning towards sun or east and facing the sun or facing the sky, resting your upper body on both hands. Both hands are basically rested on the grounds. Then comes pranayam, nadi shodhan, that is nostril breathing, kapal bhati, then ujjayi pranayam, prana, karshan, surya bhedi, chandra bhedi, and Brahmari. Mudra is basically how you make use of 5 fingers and you connect them in such a way that they form mudra. Like prana mudra, just see 2 fingers they touch and 2 fingers they point outward. This is the prana mudra to increase vital force of energy. Apan vayu, then vayu mudra, then varun mudra, etc. You can just go through some books, attend a workshop, and then you will find out what these mudras are. Meditation, again you need to attend some workshops. You have to go to Haridwar or Rishikesh. You may attend and go to some ashrams. You can attend an art of living program also. That is where they will teach you asanas, pranayams, meditation, etc. Breath awareness meditation, mantra meditation, and guided meditation. Yoga nidra, basically it has been given out, even Ashtanga Yoga, but some of the people they popularize them like Swami Nirjananda and Swami Satyananda Saraswati. Various intervention of treating burnout, assistance from others. This is where we people feel shy. You think, I am so strong, why should I go to others and ask for help? Why? I am self-confident, I am self-sustaining, I am self-potent. No. My dear friends, when you get tired, do not hesitate and immediately rush to somebody whom you know, whom you trust, and you think that he'll give you proper assistance. There is nothing, there is no shame. Avoid isolation, remain together, be friendly, be sociable. When you are sociable and friendly, the question of remaining isolated does not arise. Nutritious food, avoid fast food. When I say fast food, that includes junk food, fried food, very spicy food, sweets altogether. I don't say that I don't ask you to stop all these things altogether. No, my intention is not that, but I request you to adhere to good food, nutritious food, home cooked foods as a matter of routine, and maybe once a week or twice a month you can go out, enjoy whatever you want to take. Take regular breaks. You need to take regular breaks because your body needs replenishment, and this is the thing everywhere. If you are staying at home, you know how the food is being prepared. It's a LPG cylinder is there, and you mean to say that LPG cylinder is lasting forever? No, maybe within a month or two it gets emptied out. You have to replenish it. You have to go out, get another cylinder and fit it into the stove. It's a simple, it's a law of physics. You have got some store of energy. When you start exhausting it, when you start giving it out, naturally a sort of loss occurs in your body, in your organs. Until and unless you replenish that energy, you don't become stronger, you don't become healthy, you feel very weak. And if you do not replenish for a longer duration, then only you dump yourself into this case of burnout. And therefore, take regular breaks, avoid drugs and substance abuse, proper sleep. That's another factor which can refresh you very easily. And this is everybody's experience, I don't have to tell you. Whole day you may be working, but during the night if you have proper sleep, next day morning when you get up at 6 or 7, you are fresh as the rising sun, as fresh and as colorful as a blooming flower early morning. So that is the effect of proper sleep and rest. Walk in the nature and join some support group. Support group is again a Western term. We do not have any support groups here, but join some social groups, some adventurous groups, some friends groups and other things. To conclude, burnout is a common occurrence in caretakers. I have just given you only one example. There are a number of issues a caretaker can face. We can't explain so many things in such a short duration of course. So, we have just taken up only burnout. It's important to identify at its early stages so that detrimental consequences can be handled in advance. If it is left unattended, it might drain the caregiver and he may land into depression. Burnout, if not treated early, lasts longer. It leads the person to a state of depression. Again, a state of depression is also not being treated earlier, then only God can help you. Yoga plays a pivotal role in prevention and treatment of symptoms of caregivers burnout. Its methodologies detoxifies the health holistically and prepare the caregivers to serve the care recipient in a better way. Thank you.